McFadden Enterprises is a family-owned cow-calf operation located in southeastern Texas. The ranch was started in 1877, and Bob McCan is the fifth generation to live and work on this land.
I grew up as a child on this ranch, and I grew up riding horseback and riding pasture. And that's what I did from the time I was 7 years old until I graduated college, so that kind of got in my blood, I guess you could say, and it was never a job for me. It was always something that I enjoyed doing.
In the early 1900s, this ranch was home of the first full-blooded herd of Brahman cattle in the United States. But in the 1940s, Bob's grandfather decided to develop a new breed by introducing Hereford genetics.
They needed an animal that was gonna make a good steak, so they started crossing them with Herefords, and finally arrived with what they thought was the perfect blend for this part of the world, which is 3/4 Hereford or 1/4 Brahman. And we call those cattle Victoria Brafords, and they're a purebred commercial Braford herd that we've been breeding since the 1940s. When I took over management, which would have been in kind of the mid-80s, we started infusing some new blood into the herd, and we bought some outside bulls, Braford bulls, and we also have a herd of F1 Hereford Brahman cows that we put Hereford bulls on to get our 3/4, 1/4 cross again, and bring those animals into the operation.
McFadden Enterprises is made up of 2 family-owned ranches and a 3rd leased operation. Altogether, they can support anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 head, depending on rainfall and forage availability.
Our grazing system is a rotational system. It's not an intensive system. We put the herd in a paddock for 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the time of the year, and then move. And most of our herds have about 6 to 8 paddocks available to them, anywhere ranging in size from 5 to 700 acres. For cows and calves, this particular rotation system works really well, and we feel like, striving to always have continual improvement in the pastures and the grasslands is it's gonna help the water resource here in the community. We have a big river that borders the northern part of our property, the Guadalupe River, and it's a very important river for the bay system down here. So we feel like we need to do all we can to try to help create good, clean water and quality water and better quantity of water. Also benefits the wildlife populations, and we have better nesting cover for quail, and we have better winter feed for the deer, and so it's kind of a balance that we try to strive there.
Bob studied range science in college, so properly managing his ranch's resources has always been a priority. It's also one of the main reasons McFadden Enterprises has been able to stay in business for so many years.
Being sustainable is not an easy task, but it's a very important task. Our philosophy down here is if we're not economically sustainable, we really can't be environmentally sustainable. And so we try to go at it from both sides, and so that means taking the best care of the resource we can environmentally and managing it properly. So proper management and good economic management of the resource, we feel like is an important component to be able to sustain the property as it is.
Through the generations, the McCans have always been beef industry advocates, and Bob has served as president of both the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. He believes it's critical for producers to volunteer their time at all levels of the beef industry.
Well, it's important if you want to have an industry around for your children or for your grandchildren. And it's also wonderful networking, for getting to know your fellow cattle producers, or if you're in the, in business of selling cattle. It's I can't tell you how many relationships I've developed that ended up being pretty good relationships for the business also through those groups.
Bob is also passionate about helping young producers get started in the beef industry, and he knows firsthand that getting them involved with agricultural organizations early on has multiple benefits.
I could name a pretty long list of people that were just wonderful mentors, and because I got involved with it at a fairly young age. And you know, I think for young people coming into the industry, that's important. You know, I mean, nobody knows all the answers, and you can certainly just through the relationships that you develop, I think probably become a better operator, a better manager, a better cattle operator.
Bob's love for ranching is easy to see, and by keeping the family operation healthy and profitable, he's ensuring that generations to come will also be able to cherish and enjoy McFadden Enterprises.
I'm just kind of blessed our family's been able to survive this long and have what we have. You know, we all need to do our part to try to make that better for our next generation. Try to create, you know, maintain an environment that my children will be able to operate this ranch and be able to kind of take it on to the next level.